Hey guys, welcome to Z's Comics Reviews, episode
Yes.
14. Sorry, my brain is kind of still running off. Like I'm sun-touched in the brain. I'm working outside most of the day.
It's getting hot.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Let me see. We got a pretty healthy show. Pretty long, I guess. We got eight. Or is it 10? No, it is 10. Yeah, you're right. There's just so much cool stuff coming out that you just want to read it all. But we don't have a whole lot of time because, we work in the mornings, day jobs.
Sadly, still have regular jobs.
Exactly.
But one day, believe in the dream.
Exactly.
Believe in the dream.
Oh, yes. Eventually, it'll happen. Eventually, it will happen. But right now, we're just gonna hit the ground running. Past time. Now, I'm gonna preface this with the premise that got me to order it for my shop. Nighttime baseball. Vampires.
Exactly.
Okay? Now the premise sounds amazing, right? Vampires playing baseball at night. And no, these aren't your Twilight vampires that sparkle in the daytime. These are the ones that just hunt you down, kill you, and kind of rip you to shreds kind of thing. I was very confused and I was very bored with this one.
Because there's not even real confirmation that what you're dealing with is vampires.
Yeah. I mean, the blind dude did kind of disappear out of nowhere, but at the same time, is he really blind, kind of thing? So I don't know.
I couldn't really tell who was supposed to be.
I know
if the dude that he's talking about is a vampire or something, because it seems like he comes by at the end. Yes, it's a lot of questionings. It felt like
an extended prologue.
Yeah, it felt like a prologue at the beginning of a book that you read, and then after you finish the book, you're like, I don't understand where that prologue came in.
So I kind of want to read issue 2 just to see, is this going to pay off, or am I just going to be here I don't know. To me, it was very boring. I'm not a baseball guy, so them talking about baseball didn't really catch me.
There's not even really that much baseball talk in it, actually. And, the parts that they do talk about it, you still don't even really need to know that much about baseball, honestly. They don't go into too much lingo or, whatever. It's really, you get, 2-3 pitches, and that's about it, of someone, hitting a ball, and that's it. The baseball part didn't really play that big of a time in, besides for the fact that it starts up with them in, I don't want to say present day, because it wasn't present day.
It wasn't, no.
Yeah, it wasn't present day, even though part of this story is you go back to the 1920s for a bit. It opens up with them, in a bar, watching a night game, trying to watch a night game, but gets rained out, so there's that. But that's really the extent of baseball play in this.
Yeah.
It's not something that I'm like, oh, if you like baseball, okay, go ahead, check it out. But it's also not something that I'm like, if you know nothing about baseball, you're not going to understand anything that's going on, because it doesn't really involve baseball that much in this issue.
Yeah, I'll give it that. It's just, I don't know, man. I was very bored with it. I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Pastime number 1, 2 out of 5. I mean, the premise alone just has me really hoping that issue 2 grabs me. But honestly, I'm not really looking forward to it. And now, at this point, I want to read it just to see, please just turn into something.
Yeah. Because
the premise does sound good. Vampires playing baseball at night. Yeah. And it's from Mad Cave, and a rare miss for Mad Cave, in my opinion. Pastime number 1, 2 out of 5. I'm not saying don't pick it up. I'm just saying I'm not excited for number 2.
It's not. It doesn't hit the ground running.
It really
doesn't start off with the premise. You're probably going to be wondering okay, it's going to give you that feel of I thought this was vampires and baseball. I don't really get any of that. Yeah. But anyways, also, we skipped the honorable mention.
We did.
He was just
I thought we were going to do that at the end.
Oh, are we doing the honorable mentions at the end?
Well,
I thought we did honorable mentions at the end.
I mean, do you want to do it on the front? Okay. So, honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
Amazing Spider-Man number 17.
See, my confusion was just last time we did the honorable mention up front, so that's why I was like, oh, okay, honorable mention. But okay, anyway.
I'm working off of Sunbrain.
We're trying to figure out we're still figuring out the layout. It's okay. But yes, the honorable mention of the last issue of The Amazing Spider-Man, 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. I really liked it. It was really good. Like, I would give it a good 4 out of 5. It touches on Doom always kind of having like a plan. Like, they give you that whole like, wait a minute, because something happens in here where Doctor Strange's spirit ghost is all like, you planned for this all along. This is why you actually chose Peter. And so, touch on that. It was nice. But also, since next week now. Yeah, it says 2 weeks. It gives you the preview of Amazing Spider-Man #1, and it's like, see you in 2 weeks, but I forgot due to things supposed to come out last week or something like that. But anyways, But anyways, next week, The Amazing Spider-Man #1 comes out, and this really gives the feel of like, okay, I can see why they're deciding, let's go back to #1. Like, it gives you that, like, this is a new dawn, a brand new day.
No, they already used that one back in, what, 2009?
I know, but I was going off of the fact that Brand New Day got... See, this is why nobody likes you comic people. I'm just kidding. But yes, anyways, I enjoyed it. It was really good. Pretty touching. Sadly, my hopes of him getting with Felicia, them being a couple, don't seem to be happening. But
dashed. They've raised your hopes and dashed them quite expertly.
I know, because like I don't care what y'all say. Like, myself, like some people, just because it gives me that like Batman and Catwoman vibe.
It does.
I like the idea of Spider-Man with Catwoman. I like that idea.
Black Cat.
Oh yeah, Cat. Black Cat. The guy's Cat in the name. But yes, there we go. Amazing Spider-Man #70. I guess solid 4 out of 5.
Nice. All right. Let me see here. So okay, I gotta talk about this just a little bit. Intermission with a little bit of news. So Tom Brevoort, I think that's how you pronounce it. He is the editor-in-chief over at Marvel, and he basically just crapped on all of the Marvel fans.
Yes.
Did you hear about this?
Yes, the guy that was all like, "Wait, you want Spider-Man to be married?
Then stop reading this book." Yeah, he basically told everybody that wants Spider-Man in a healthy relationship to like pound sand. Pretty much, just because, like, I honestly don't know what he has against Peter Parker. I don't know what he has against the character, but for some reason he just doesn't want him to be happy. Like, write the character happy. Yeah. Write the character in a healthy relationship. Ultimate Spider-Man, is like the healthiest version of Peter Parker that they've ever shown. Okay, like even in the Sam Raimi movies, they like, dude. MJ is straight up toxic in the Sam Raimi movies.
In those, it's like, like Kristen Wiig, right?
No. Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. Okay, yeah. Kirsten Dunst, like, I like you. Great actress. But yeah, it's like...
it's not her fault that her part was written that way. She did fantastic with what she was given.
The way she's written, it's just like, bruh, it really gives you that, like, the memes.
She is of his Amber from Invincible, the TV show. Like she fell off a Brooklyn Bridge so Amber could, survive in Invincible. Yes.
Like the memes of people being all like, he should have ended up with his landlord's daughter, or finally left for Gwen Stacy, is like, in the Tobey Maguire movies, it's like, yes, that's valid. Yeah. MJ was just...
I'm gonna go a step further in the 616 as well. Like just somebody else. All right. Yeah. Like pick it back up with Captain Marvel. Okay. What they did it for a little bit.
I'm not a huge Captain Marvel fan, and I've never really read that part, so I'm still gonna stick.
I think they only had like 2 dates.
Respectfully stick to him and Felicia.
All right, guys, we got way off topic on this one. We're gonna get back to.
But yes, darn that guy, because like, come on, bro, you can't be saying that when Ultimate Spider-Man is currently going right now, and people love it.
It's selling out like regularly. Yes. That's the thing. Let me see. I forgot what our number 2 was. Doom's Division. Okay, Doom's Division #1. A new entry into the One World Under Doom story. It picks up following Korea's Tiger Division, Luna Snow, and all the other characters that I honestly don't remember their names because, let's be honest, who's going to remember more than Luna Snow? All right.
And there's a lot.
There's like 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, and they're fairly recent. I haven't really seen them in too much aside from, you know, like I think I picked up Tiger Division #1, and that was it. I didn't do the miniseries or whatever. That I just meh to me. But Doom's Division #1, I liked it. It delves into the propaganda of Doom's
yes,
coronation. No, world order, I guess, to try to, you know, like get people on board with how Doom is doing things and things like that. You get a little bit of internal strife from Luna, and much of the comic is actually focusing on her, which I'm pretty sure is like Marvel Rivals Fallout kind of thing. But yeah, she has been popular in the comics itself. Not really a whole lot to say about this comic aside from it's well written. It's got a little bit of humor in there, and it does show like little cracks in Doom's regime, I guess, in one like small corner. But at the same time, it also like broadens the horizons because Tiger Division was predominantly a Korean thing, but now that Doom has basically abolished all borders and everything, all of the Asian countries are coming together to like add numbers to the Tiger Division, which is promptly renamed Doom's Division, and it's basically just, you know, a bunch of propaganda, and it shows you the behind the scenes of it all, and it's interesting. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
I'll stick with a 3 out of 5. Basically the same reasons. There is a downside to me in that it felt long.
It really did. It dragged on in certain parts. And
to kind of put it into different, to kind of use an analogy, you know, sometimes you'll be watching a movie and you're like, wow, and you're looking at, you may check your watch, or at the end of the movie, you look at the time and you're just like, man, that was only an hour and 30, but it felt long. It felt like 2 hours.
You know what? I didn't notice it until you said that, but yeah.
It's the same page length as pretty much all other Marvel comics, but it just felt long to me, which, yeah, it kind of killed a little bit of my enthusiasm for it. There were times where I'm in the middle of reading where I'm like, how much more do I have left and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Skimmed a few of the parts. I'd be reading and I'm like, okay, it doesn't seem like much more information is going to be given if I read that last bit of line. Let me go to the next panel.
See, I read every line, and it's like you said, it just felt like it dragged on me. I didn't notice it until you said it, but yeah, it really did. I still enjoyed the overall story of it, but I think it could have been a little bit they could have put more stuff in it, and it wouldn't have felt like that. At least, you know, an actual fight, not like a music video kind of thing. So yeah, I think it could have been better, but I'm not mad that I read it. I'm not disappointed in it in any way. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I gave it a 3 out of 5. A middling 3 out of 5, not a fantastic 3 out of 5, but you know, solid comic. I do recommend picking it up if you want a broader viewing of One World Under Doom, the storyline itself.
Yes.
But yeah, that is Doom's Division #1. Moving on to Vampirella #1. Vampirella #1. So, as a #1, you should be able to capture your audience's attention, right? Or at least tell a story without having to rely on previous volumes or anything like that, right? This one right here, it feels like you kind of have to read the previous volume in order to understand what's going on. Because you're kind of thrown in the middle of her being a single mom, which, dude, and apparently, I didn't even know Vampirella was pregnant in the comics, but then again, this is our first time doing a Vampirella comic. There's postpartum depression. There's her basically being I guess a bounty hunter or something. Her dealing with her mental illness, and at the end, time travel shenanigans. But yeah, I don't think it's a solid enough comic on its own, and I'm hoping issue 2 can fix that because it has good bones, like for the story. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to issue 2 to see how this plays out, because that twist at the end was enough to have me go like, okay, I want to see how this goes. I want to see how this plays out, because yeah, it's like time travel shenanigans. But yeah, and the artwork is great. It has so many variants. But yeah, the interior artwork is pretty good too. And they try to kind of hold your hand in regards to past, but not really a whole lot. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
I'll stick with a 3 out of 5 as well. I honestly didn't really think that you needed to be reading the other issues, because like for me, I'm like same boat as him. I've never really read a Vampirella comic, but I know who she is. So that with the fact that it was a #1 is like part of the reason why we were like, okay, we should read this.
I thought it would have been a perfect jumping on point, but I think I don't think I stuck the landing.
Yeah, but like for me, I was like, oh, okay, she's got a kid. She's like evidently had issues with her sister and a few others. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's for me. That was all I needed to know. I was like, oh, okay, there's that. Yeah, and it looks like she's doing she's got that like, I'm a vampire that doesn't harm or drink the blood of innocents things going on. That's like, okay, it's pretty good. Like she takes down some drug dealers and stuff like that. One thing that I thought was kind of that may have gone back a bit is there's a lot of panels in here, and even at the start, it was like 2 pages back to back where there's no words. It's straight up just the scene. It's just the art.
I thought that was all right because it was portraying her mental illness and the passage of time and how it just feels like it drudges on when dealing with it. I thought that was a pretty good little. I thought that was a pretty good little sequence, I guess, because intercut in between the panels was time frames.
Yeah, I like the time frames were there, but at the same time too, I kind of bring it up just because the feeling of him saying like, oh, he feels like he didn't really know too much to be introduced to Vampirella. Like this wasn't that good of a jump off point of a starting point, where it kind of gave me the feeling now of like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have used that many types of that. Like, maybe dial it back a little bit, get a little bit more dialogue to like, just give more information for people who are jumping on at this point.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
But still, it was good. It was good. Like, I'm still not a huge Vampirella fan, but I am at the same time like, oh, okay, I could read #2. I can see where this goes.
We may or may not review it for the show. All right, so Vampirella #1, giving it a 3 out of 5 across board. Moving on to TMNT Naruto #3. All right, this one, did it come out last month? Because between 1 and 2 was like 2 months.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, this one
time frames are getting
they're everything's blending together. TMNT Naruto #3. We open up and it's pretty much immediately after the last issue left off, where Irokusaki Shredder took April and Splinter. Opens up with them at their secret lair kind of thing, and then it immediately goes back to the boys and the Team 7, right?
Yes.
That's what it is, Team 7, right?
7.
Team 7 just out doing a night patrol, getting some pizza. All right, and the action in there, pretty damn good. Like issue 1, this one is pretty much just half fighting.
Yeah,
like halfway set up and getting all the characters reacquainted with the audience in a different light, and then fighting, a lot of fighting. And at the end, I was like, this, like in my head, the ninja rap was playing. All right, and I loved it. Like just seeing that right there, just like the splash page at the end, just like it made me think about the ninja rap, and I friggin' loved it. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 because like the artwork is clean, the fights are good, and it doesn't promise anything more than what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so like that's why I gave it a 4.
None of the issues in this series are trying to be like too much or whatever. It's like, hey, we're giving you that. Yeah, we're giving you that like Saturday morning cartoon vibe. I know I say that a lot on this show, but still, it's a lot of times when like it's a great way of like getting across what it's going for. And like the fight scenes in this, they're naming, that they do a good job at showing how good they are at teaming up together. Because like each one is like, okay, Naruto's with Mikey, and Sasuke's with Raph.
No, Sasuke's with Donnie.
Donnie, yeah. Sasuke's with Donnie, and it's like there's 2 whole pages of like each one of those fights, and it like goes through their process of like, hey, I'm noticing this about the guy, like either the turtle or the Naruto character saying like, hey, I'm noticing this. They're like bouncing things off of each other, and then they end up on the next page of their fight saying like, oh, okay, because of this, let's try this out, and they end up having their whole like the name of a new move or whatever, just like splash page on there, and it's like, yes, it does really good showing the interaction of all this, and then the ending, yes, it gives you that like about to get
go ninja, go ninja, go. Yes, I had something. I don't want to get popped for copyright.
It's intriguing. It's very contagious, bro. I feel like Mr. Ice would be okay with us like getting that. If we were to get flagged for copyright, I feel like we could send a tweet or something to Mr. Ice and be like, "Hey, you created a very funky, fresh song, bro. Like, can we? It's like, is it really on us? Like, we're sorry, but we weren't trying to like steal your profits or anything." I feel like he would understand. He'd be like, you know,
we're doing this nonprofit. Exactly. We're not even making.
I feel like he would understand and just be like, you're right.
I'm
you know what?
Money on this.
I know, but still. But yes, like I enjoyed it. I enjoy pretty much anything Turtles though. So it's like it would have to do a lot to be bad.
Yeah, it would have to do it would have to just like be them just following one foot soldier or something. Yeah, and doing absolutely nothing.
That or like if the fight at the first, like, sure, they meet him in the first issue and there's like a fight, but okay, that's obvious. It would have had to been like a whole, or for some reason they were like, okay, 2 issues of a fight between them because like it's the Turtles, bro. Yeah. They're not gonna be like angry at them that long. Well, maybe the OG iteration of the Turtles would, but like this iteration of the Turtles, it's like, nah, bro. Like they'll figure out a way to just be like, oh, hold up, chill, and then they just like become bros and start eating pizza together.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what's happening here.
That's what's happening. It's very nice.
But yeah, it's very good. I give it 4 out of 5. What about you?
Yes.
4 out of 5? Yes. All right. 4 out of 5. TMNT Naruto number 3 across the board. Yes. Moving on to the highly anticipated Absolute Green Lantern from DC Comics. All right. So this one, I understand the hype for this one.
Yes.
I do. I do understand the hype for this
one. Especially because, again, not doing any spoilers, but the Absolute Universes are starting. Oh, wait, no, that's a different one. That's a different one.
Yeah, that's Superman?
Let me get, yeah. I'll save it for that.
Yeah. So this one right here, a good first start.
Yes.
We open as everybody has seen, because even the news stations have been covering this. It starts off with Hal Jordan, and he is going down a Nevada highway, and he is scared out of his mind.
Yes.
And there's something in his head telling him, you need to conquer your fear. No more fear. No fear. And he's terrified.
He's tweaking.
It looks like he's tweaking, yes. The artwork is fantastic for this story. It's very muted colors, and then bam, like this something vibrant and destructive. And then they kind of Tarantino it, like
yeah.
All right, this happens, and then okay, let's backtrack a couple days ago.
Yes.
And you get introduced to Hal Jordan as, you know, a collector. What did he call himself? A collectible reseller. And John Stewart is an architect.
Green Lantern.
John Stewart is an architect, and Guy Gardner's estranged wife, whose name escapes me at the moment, but it looks like she is going to be the main Green Lantern in this story.
As you can see from the cover.
Yes, exactly. excuse me. Hal Jordan is just like every time he takes his hand out of his pocket, he blacks out.
Something happens.
Something happens, and he just is terrified. He finds himself, you know, in a populated area. Things happen, things go down, and I'm trying to be as vague as possible because the entire thing is a fantastic read. I do highly recommend it. It's just good, man. They got a new twist on what Hal Jordan is. They got a new twist on who the Green Lantern is, who Abin Sur is, and what the Green Lantern could be. So I'm trying to leave it as vague as possible because if I tell you anything more, it's just not gonna hit you as hard, or it's not gonna like draw you in if you read it. So I give this one 4 out of 5. I greatly enjoyed this one.
I'm giving it 5s.
You're giving it a 5 out of 5? Really?
I'm giving it 5s. It does everything so well.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it hits all the bases, and I can't think of a reason for me that I'm all like, nah, it wasn't. Yeah. Like comic wise, I feel it's a 5. I feel it's a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a great thing to kind of like help remind y'all how we do things on here. Is like, okay, yes, 5 out of 5 comic here for me. But there are others that aren't going to be like close. That some of them aren't going to be a 5 out of 5. But I just enjoyed them more. But comic wise, yes, it's very good. It's very solid art, the intrigue, the laying the groundwork, and it's like,
yeah. It is pretty good. So it just, to me, it wasn't as good. You know what? The reason I'm probably giving it a 4 out of 5 is because I'm comparing it to all the other absolutes.
Yeah, which is like, it's hard to do that with them. Like,
it really is.
Well, I mean, I know you want to do that with them, especially because like they're all in the same universe. It's something that we're
Absolute Batman. A lot happened in here. Not a lot happens. But a lot happens. So I think that's why I give it, because it goes and tells you like whoa, stuff is happening, but it doesn't actually show stuff is happening. It just shows like the effects beforehand, and I think that's why I give it a 4.
I see what you're doing. I see your point there, but at the same time, it's like Absolute Batman. We kind of joined him in like when he's already been doing it for a pretty good while, and it kind of like it's at that point where it's like we've reached the boiling point. You've been, it's kind of like in The Dark Knight when Alfred is telling Bruce like, "Hey, you've been like prodding these guys, messing with their stuff for so long. At some point it was going to reach a point where, you know, retaliation starts, and like that's where we came in on Absolute Batman." This one, we're coming in like at the beginning. They're normal Joe Schmoes, and Alien comes down. Yeah, so yeah, like a lot of stuff is going to happen, but at the same time, it's like, not the level of happening can't be like Absolute Batman type level happening because it's just.
He said happening a lot.
I know. I was getting kind of like. There for a bit. Like my brain was functioning fast, but the mouth wouldn't move. But yeah, like that's why trying to keep it in its own little area. It's like you got 3 regular friends that were just chilling one day, and all of a sudden, bam, alien. Like they're at the beginning of the journey. Absolute Batman, Bruce was like he's been doing it a while, so it's gotta take some time.
Probably it's
got to unravel.
I will agree to disagree on the grade.
All the light has not been shed.
I'll give you. Okay,
it's not shining bright.
We'll see how issue 2 goes.
The brightest day is not
definitely. We're definitely reviewing issue 2 for this.
Yes.
But yeah. So 4 out of 5 for me for Absolute Green Lantern number 1. 5 out of 5 from my co-host here. And moving on to
the Fantastic Four.
Godzilla versus Fantastic Four.
Yes.
As you can see a little bit better right here.
Yes.
Yes, I love this cover right here. The whole, Godzilla versus the Thing, Fight Night kind of stuff. the entire thing takes place not too long after the original Godzilla movie, which is a little like apparently the Fantastic Four were on their way to Japan to help deal with Godzilla when he first appeared in Japan. And they get there a little too late. Darn it. And somehow Godzilla later on, the other Godzilla comes back and starts terrorizing New York. Right? And they have four. They're trying their best to deter Godzilla, and somehow it happens. And that's like half of the comic. It's just them doing dialogue. Like this entire comic feels like it's from the 60s, 70s era, where they announce pretty much everything that they do.
The narrator bubbles that are just all like, "Will our heroes finish their task in time before to thwart Godzilla's evil plan?"
Yeah.
It's like, very nice.
It's very good. The twist in the middle involves Galactus and the new Herald, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but when I turned the page and saw the full art spread of it, I was like, "What? What? No way!" But I'm teasing you guys a little bit on that one because you just got to read it. Godzilla versus Fantastic Four. Okay, this one was supposed to be out last week, so you should have already read it, but we barely got it in this week.
It's very it's very 1960s comic booky vibe, and it's also very like 1960s, 1970s B monster movie vibe too. It's nice.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So I give this one a very positive 3 out of 5. Just because I know this is nitpicky. I'm not a fan of the artwork. You know what I mean? I'm not a fan of the artwork. But
the artwork worked for me for the time period that it was feeling like. The artwork worked for me.
I could see that. It's just I didn't care for it. I'm not saying it's bad, but I did not care for it as a personal preference, and that's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. What about you?
I'm sticking with a 4.
Is it 4 out of 5?
4. Yes.
All right,
it's good stuff.
We're deferring here.
Exactly. Sometimes you just got to create the little divide, a little space.
Exactly. So Godzilla vs. Fantastic Four. I highly recommend picking it up no matter what. Even though I gave it a 3 out of 5, I greatly enjoyed it. I'll read it a couple times here and there again, probably. And there's so many variants, dude. Show that foil variant. Because it's so cool looking. I don't know.
So nice.
Angle it down because
may not be able to get the full effect, but it's nice.
It's so cool. I think they're all gonna have one like that. I want to keep one of each. All right. Moving on to Darkwing Duck. The terror that flaps in the night.
The one that calls when you just wanted a text.
That's a good that is a good one. So this one right here, I'm gonna say it's not as strong as number 1.
No,
it's not as strong as number 1, but I'm not saying it's a bad comic. It still gives you the Saturday morning cartoon feel. You're sitting at the table eating Cheerios, watching it from across the room. All right, and I love it. Okay, the artwork just spectacular. Okay, it just brings that childlike demeanor out. You know what I mean? Godzilla. It's a classic Godzilla-centered story. Okay, but this one actually hits a little bit closer to a real life kind of thing.
The overarching theme for this one is very touching.
Yeah. So she's adopted, and she knows on the surface she knows Drake Mallard, Darkwing Duck, is proud of her, but she's adopted. In her words, or in the character's words, she's adopted, and she knows that she feels that she needs to be better or more. And obviously, that's not the case. But she's written as a child, so that's what she feels, and she wants him to not just be proud of her, but super duper ultra proud of her. And when you're reading it, you're like, oh man,
You're just
obviously, Darkwing Duck, Drake Mallard is super proud of Godzilla no matter what he does.
Thing. It's like no matter what, your parent, you're gonna be proud of your kid. You're gonna love him no matter what.
Yeah, adopted or not. And that right there kind of, to me, it elevates the comic into not just Saturday morning feels, but also if a child is reading this, they know, or they get a better feel that, they don't always have to be on or anything like that. So hopefully, if a child does read this, they kind of make that connection. And I don't know. It's so to me, it was a very well done comic. I greatly enjoyed it. It was funny. Dr. Bushroot is the bad guy, which they teased at the end of the first issue, and it's a classic Bushroot scheme, dude. There's nothing insane about what he's doing in terms of what his goal is. He's just trying to get back at bullies, and that's it. And yeah, it's just a well done comic. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yes, I will agree. 4 out of 5. I like the way they did it. First issue was kind of hey, he's back. He's bad. Here we go.
They had to hit it hard.
For the people that love him, here you go. That you've grown up with him, you know who Darkwing Duck is. Here he is, still same guy you know and love. For the people that are jumping on, getting a little more info. This is the kind of stuff he's about. And I like in the second one how it does. It's okay, we got to the introduction. Now let's sprinkle a little bit more of this is who they are as a person,
Sprinkle the feels in there.
That real personal touch to it, which was really nice. I can't really say more about it because he touched on pretty much everything, and I don't want to give anything away as well.
Yeah,
but I am really excited too for the next one because we get the secret history, Darkwing himself.
Yes,
that's what it was eyeballing for the next one. It was next time on Darkwing Duck, the secret history.
Did it say the secret history or just the secret history of Darkwing?
I think it was
just the secret history, right?
Yeah,
the secret history of Launchpad. I'm gonna say right now. I'm calling right now. Secret history of Launchpad.
So it's yes.
I have no idea. I'm just guessing.
I'm excited, bro.
All right, moving on to Absolute Superman number 6.
This is the one that I was talking about. That it throws more okay, Absolute Universe characters are possibly coming from this. Okay, we in the same plane, we on the same thing. To interactions.
So this one right here, it opens up in a very, very dark place.
Yes.
Kal-El is in his ship, and he's been in his ship for about 17 months.
Yes.
Just him and his suit soul, right? And he's done, man. He's been at it for over a year and a half, and he's
doing the math, talking about how hey, we've been traveling at this speed for this long. We've traveled over 9 trillion light years, and we've found nothing. No possible world that could contain life. He's so he gets low.
I actually have a little weird thing that I noticed in there. A soul says we have not detected any planet that could sustain human life.
Yes.
Are they human? Do the Kryptonians call themselves humans?
See, now we're getting into Star Wars stuff here, where it's is Anakin and them human? And then even there's a Han Solo shirt that Uncle Tom, your dad, has that lists him as human, and I'm but is he though?
Yeah, exactly. You don't. I don't know.
I'm not trying to be, I don't want to be mean to any possible aliens out there, if there happen to ever be any that watch this. But I'm just saying, are we all human? Just because we humanoid looking?
Exactly. But that's why I'm asking the question. Why did it call
him human?
Humans. You know what I mean?
Human life. It's would they even know who humans were?
Yeah. Exactly.
Wouldn't they just be why not say Kryptonian or the other race is Daxamites, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's or Daxamite life or whatever, It's how do you know about humans?
Exactly.
Have you been this far, soul?
Exactly, man. That's why I'm was that something intentional or something like that. Anyway, we're getting into theories here.
But or are we getting into the point of why are the drapes blue? And we're looking too much into it.
The drapes were blue
just because I like the color blue, right? If the writer ever sees this, he's just gonna be like, "I just put humans because it was a late night, bro. I was tired."
So I gotta send an email or something. I gotta see if they'll ask that. Anyway, or if they'll answer that. So anyway, so yeah, it opens up and Kal-El, he's done. He's about to give up, and lo and behold, they find that yellow sun and boom, supercharged. Right. We get a little bit of backstory of his time on Earth, which has not been long. Yeah. So altogether, he's been on Earth for about 6 years, I believe it said. And this one here shows his first few weeks on Earth with the Kents.
Yes.
So he didn't grow up with Martha and John, but they still found him. They took care of him even before he learned the language. And eventually, when he gets Soul's ability to translate and everything, I don't think he connects with them as parents, but as good people, in a familial sense rather than straight up mom and dad kind of thing. He feels indebted to them. He's helping out where he can, and the Lazarus company just does not want to leave him alone. Apparently, Lazarus is like some sort of government agency. They're like Homeland Security, and they're expanding their scope of powers at the time, and that shows how Superman is just why he hates Lazarus. And at the end, you get a little bit of present day stuff, and it ends. I'm going to leave this as vague as possible. It ends showing why that the company is called Lazarus. And I did not see that coming. Even though it's in the name, I didn't see it coming. It was that good of a twist. I was like, whoa. I'm sold. I want to read more. You know what I mean? So I'm giving this one a 5 out of 5. Absolute Superman number 6, 5 out of 5.
It's tremendous. And I also like, too, that it touched on the fact that it's not just Soul. Like, some of the previous issues were kind of like, at the start, where it was kind of like, okay, does Superman have his abilities? Or is it this, AI-generated suit that he's got? But in this issue, it's like, okay, no. He still has, he still can fly on his own. He can still, run super fast on his own. Still do everything that we know Superman can do on his own. It's just kind of like, okay, Soul either amplifies his powers a bit or just allows him to do just a little bit more stuff.
Well, the way I read it, Soul helps regulate the expending of the ability. Because he's like Cyclops. His ability is stored in his cells, right? And it's basically UV energy. And in here, he hasn't had years soaking it up without using it. You know what I mean? So Soul, the way I read it, is helping him regulate how it's expended. Yeah. So yeah,
it's nice stuff, and that's what I like. Just because, in the past few issues, which episodes. I was gonna say episodes, in the past few issues, I still had that question of
oh yeah,
is it the suit? Is Superman a suit, or is it actually him? And in this one, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of a bit of both.
Yeah. All right, so Absolute Superman number 6, 5 out of 5 across the board. Moving on to runner-up to Comic of the Week. Pop Kill. Well, technically, this would be Comic of the Week
because our Comic of the Week was supposed to be last week, but
just like last time. Yeah. All right. So, man, I'm gonna love that. All right. So, Pop Kill. If you guys remember last time, Pop Kill is about 2 warring soda pop companies.
Yes.
Right. Owned by twin brothers, each missing the other side of the arm. And last issue left off with one of the company's, I guess, acquisitioners, you could call them.
Scientists.
Scientists. Meeting with someone that she thought was just a good Samaritan. Turns out he was working for the other company.
He was Jason Statham, an assassin.
I mean, he could be an assassin.
That's always Jason Statham's twist. It's like, oh, you think I'm a beekeeper? Ha, psych. I'm an assassin. You think I'm the mechanic? Psych.
Oh, did you see that guy's stand up too? Okay, yes.
Yeah, psych. I'm an assassin.
Yeah, like I was watching, I was like, yes, that's right.
Anyway. He's at the end. He's even all like, "Yeah, I even got a movie coming out next year called The Dentist, where let me guess, you're an assassin. How did you know?"
All right, we're getting off topic. But Pop Kill 2 picks up exactly where the previous issue left off. It's this one hardcore. It is 80s style action, and it is amazing. The artwork, fantastic. There's backstory between characters, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna be epic. And then bam, like they just start knife fighting.
Yes.
It's so good. The illustration for this fight is just so good. And then in true 80s style action, right after the fighting, they get to a chopper and go to the woods. Yes. Hiding out. Yes. Like
where our guy is revealed to be a gentleman.
Yes.
He is a gentleman with kind of a sad backstory.
Dude, that backstory kind of it endeared me to the character, okay? Like when it first started, I was like, okay, he's just your average douche. But no, man. Nah, he's got a backstory, and it is like I want to see this guy succeed.
And like if anybody's seen that Broken Lizard movie, I think it was Beer League?
Beer Fest?
Beer Fest, yeah. Beer Fest. Everybody's seen that Broken Lizard movie, Beer Fest? Somebody gets got in that way, in that flashback.
Oh, man, yeah.
You know, instead of it being alcohol, since it's a soda comic, it's soda related, which that has to suck even more, bro.
Right? Like you got to burp and it just won't come out.
Yeah. And then when you start convulsing, you're going to breathe in, and you just like the carbonation going through the nose. It's like, that's got to suck.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm Pop Kill number 2, 4 out of 5. You know what? I'm changing mine. I'm the 5 out of 5. I'm changing mine. 5 out of 5 because it's just it just screams like Arnold and Jason Statham type stuff, and I love it.
It's a far-fetched theatrical plot, you know, but it's your classic like, hey, person's created this unbelievable invention, and now people are after them for whatever reason, and you don't need more than that. It's like, these are the reasons. Yeah, we're not gonna try to like stretch them out even more to where it ends up making it be like, okay, now it's just dumb. Now you're like, it's like, nope.
It started off with the ridiculous premise, and it just doubled down on it, and it's working. You know what I mean?
All right, we gave you the reason. Now here we go. So it's like, yes, I love it. It's great. It is a good one. I think this is this one where it's only 3 issues?
I think so. I gotta look because I don't think it's gonna last long.
But yeah,
a lot of Mad Cave Studio stuff is not long form. It's told in miniseries,
which I do like. I do like the long running series, of course, like Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man, Nightwing, my boy. Like, I do like a good long running series, but at the same time, especially in like comic books, if you're a comic book person, having one that's not going to last that long is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, you're like, it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, you're like, and also you don't have to worry too much about being like, okay, I need to clear up money because this stuff is going to constantly be coming. It's like, oh, I get like this one comes out every month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got 3 months where I just know, okay, yeah, I'll buy that, and then after that, done.
Yeah.
You know, it's a nice change up. It's very nice. But yes, Pop Kill, tremendous. I like it.
What do you give it?
I'm gonna stick with a very good 4 out of 5. Very good 4 out of 5.
All right, so 5 out of 5 for me. Pop Kill number 2. 4 out of 5 from you. All right, moving on to our comic of last week.
It's only right there. It's the Amazing Spider-Man. Stan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because this one's Spider-Man. This one's
Ultimate Spider-Man number 15. Now, Yes, it should have been out last week. We should have reviewed it last week. We didn't have it last week.
Yeah, shipping issues.
Shipping issues.
So this week,
obviously, it's still the same artwork at Chichetto, I think. Same artwork, so yes, it's amazing. Starts off in March, obviously, because, we are in March.
Yes.
And every issue seems to be taking place in the month that it comes out.
It does.
And this one, the Parkers are on vacation.
They're on vacation. They're dealing with the aftermath of the last issue where our boy Harry, moment of silence.
Yep. So now the Parkers are on vacation-ish / hiding out in the Nevada desert, almost, right? Nevada desert?
I believe so, yes.
And,
is it Nevada or is it New Mexico? Because there's a lot of, UFO talk.
Oh, it's probably New Mexico.
So that's why I think it's New Mexico.
Yeah. So they're hanging out in the desert and basically laying low. And honestly, I thought that the guy that they were talking to was going to be like Adrian Toomes or something.
I thought that was going to be something.
But you get a little bit more time to calm down with Parker's. MJ and Peter have a little bit of heart to heart here and there. Peter and Ben catch wind. Peter and Richard catch wind of people disappearing out of a certain area, and MJ is actually the one that kind of spurs them on. Like, okay, you got to go and check it out. Somebody needs help, and you can help.
Healthy relationship.
Exactly.
Come on, she sees that the man is in turmoil with his inner heart. He's Peter Parker. He's got the heart of a hero. He wants to help people, and she sees that. So when they hear of a possible problem, she's like, "Go on, go. You know you want to."
Yeah. So a little bit of something that I noticed in here. This one has Peter donning an actual cloth suit.
Yeah, well, that's the one that they gave him. He did that starting in issue 11 or 12, I believe, because it was when they were doing some tinkering with his suit. But in the meantime, he wanted to wear something, so he's had the cloth one.
Oh, you're right. But interesting. What's interesting in here is that he's still letting Richard wear the Pico suit.
Yes.
Which there's a lot of hints, Easter eggs, whatever you want to call them, hinting,
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing that the Pico suit may in fact be the ultimate version, or the new ultimate version of Venom.
Yes.
And the fact that Peter is talking to the suit during this comic, and the suit is not answering him the way that he's supposed to be answering him, kind of leads me to believe that we're going to see a little schism later. Especially
because he gives him rules. He touched on the rules that he already gave him before, because Peter, before they start going in the foray to go after who this issue's villain of the month is, Peter starts talking to the suit and being like, okay, let's go over the ground rules. And the suit's like, yes, I know. No messing with MJ. No, yada, yada, yada. But then he gives him newer rules. And specifically one of these newer rules is kind of okay, I see where this is going to now, because he gives him that rule of look, something happens to me, your job, you got to do whatever you see fit to protect the people that I care about. So at that point, it's oh, okay, I'm seeing. You didn't word it right. You didn't word it right.
With AI is like the Fae, man. You got to be very specific.
It's you see where this is coming, and yep, it's that specific part really lays that groundwork of ooh, black suit is gonna.
Yeah, I that's probably gonna be year 3 or something.
Possibly.
Yeah, but I did like how it showed Ben and Felicia kind of flirty, texty kind of thing.
That one was kind of okay,
I was
guys.
I see where this is going. I like it. You know what I mean? I like how they're portraying
signal blocked. Signal blocked, bro. Oh my god! But he did good for the time that he had signal. My god, he's got that Peter Parker charm. He's got that Parker charm.
So Parker has no charm.
He's got charm.
He's got no charm.
He's got MJ, bro.
In here, yeah, maybe charm.
We're talking. We're talking about this universe, bro.
Okay,
we're talking about fine. We all know classic Peter. He's got that stumbling, bumblingness.
Yeah.
That he just he's got unluckiness. But in this one, this Peter, he's got that Kavorka, he's got that riz, as they say, you know, he's got that charisma, and his boy, he got that, you know. And then also speaking of Ben, something happens in this one, like so the ending of this one.
It ends in a very tense conversation on par with Daredevil type stuff.
It definitely is like, wow, they took that from like, okay, you could have just stayed here, but no, to get your point across, no, you went above and beyond and took your actions globally.
But yeah, so obviously 5 out of 5, Ultimate Spider-Man number 15.
Yes.
Definitely recommend picking it up. Definitely recommend picking up the trade paperbacks if you haven't been able to get the issues. The storyline itself is just amazing. We reviewed like 10 comics right now. I think that about does it for us tonight.
So
yes. Yeah. So we will see you guys next time. If you guys like the Rants and Ravens 2 Madmen, go ahead and give us a like, follow, share us with your friends, and we will see you guys next time. Later.
Bye-bye.